Hey guys, this is Jeff on the Entrefied Podcast. If you're new to our podcast, you can go to entrefied.com, which is www.entrefied.com. Join our newsletter and get our PAR workbook, which is plan, action, repeat, or plan, adapt, repeat. I sometimes call it one or the other, but it basically has a morning routine and it has a lot of good information to help you define what you're wanting in life. It has a lot of questions that'll ask you what you want, and it'll basically help refine it down for you. So with that said, go to our website, check out a lot of the great things on our website. But what we do is we interview guests. We have authors on the show. We have business people. We have professionals. We have a lot of different things going on the website. But I want to talk to you today about some things. You know, one of the things I want to talk to you about, I'm going to be paraphrasing a lot of stuff that's on our website. If you check it out, it's just basically articles to make you better. You know, habits, tips, principles, and things that we've learned over time. So guys, I hope you get a hold of that. Mostly it's a lot of this stuff is mine that I put on. And also Patrick has a lot of good stuff too that he's putting on. He does different things like the news right now, and he's doing other things like with some of the podcasts he's doing. So he's offering a lot of great value there too. So check that out as well. I listened to one of his news articles the other day, and I told him, I said, man, that was really good. And it was a really good podcast that he did. So check out those. But what I want to talk to you about today is you're not going to get this time back, you know. And so I'm going to paraphrase a lot of this information. I hope you guys will check it out on the website, join our free newsletter, and get a lot of great content, guys. Just go to entrefied.com, go down and sign up for a free newsletter. Or you can read the articles right on the website as well, as I mentioned. So getting to it, every day you get so much time and you don't need to waste it. You know, a lot of times we do that. You need to focus on what you need to be doing right now in the moment and also the moments to come later. But if you get locked into thinking about the moments to come, you may miss the moments that you're in. So have a planning time that you can go over some things to strategize about what you want to do in the future. But make most of your day about getting things done, not thinking about things to come. I've mentioned before about how to focus on what you need to be doing right now. Some of the lists that I've talked about is below on the page, if you can see it right here. If you're watching the video, if you're listening to the just the audio, that's fine too. You can go on our website and you check a lot of this stuff out. It's right on our website. I believe this one is message 8. Like I said, it's right on the website. So check that out. But make a list of the things you need to get done. I mentioned this before. List the 2 main things. Sometimes I'll say 3. Sometimes you can do 3, or you can do more, but 2 or 3 is a good start. Make a list of 2 or 3 things you want to accomplish in your day. Have a planning time with the tasks coming up. Don't spend more time on things than you should. So just get about what you need to be doing. You can think about planning during your planning time. Find the things that matter and work on those things. I was wanting to go back over this third one here. It says, with tasks that come up that are time suckers, just get them done fast when appropriate. That is so good because a lot of times we waste a lot of time on things when we just need to get it done and get it over with. And find the things, number 4 is find the things that matter and work on those things. If you're listening, like I said, to the audio, I've got a list that I've wrote out for you guys. And I was going back over the third one because the third one was kind of hard to read there for me for just a minute. But it was talking about getting things done really fast. And sometimes that doesn't apply. Sometimes it just needs to be, you know, you need to take your time with something. Other times you just need to get something out of the way. So you have to use your own judgment on that, obviously. But number 5, you may consider having a study or research time. Your mindset's very important. That's number 6. So take some time to rehearse with yourself what you will do today, how you're going to act, how you're going to feel about it, and what you're going to permit and what you're not going to permit. And what I mean by that is if you generally going to run into things in the day that's going to try to shift your focus. It's going to try to get you negative. There's going to be things that come at you. You have to make sure you keep a positive mindset. That's what that's about. If you listen to our podcast, you probably heard a lot of different things about that. But I just wanted to mention this briefly. Keep your mindset. And how you do that is start to recognize the thoughts you're thinking in a day and redirect them and try to find a positive reconstruct of maybe possibly a negative situation. Somebody comes to you and says, I just don't like the way you did that, and they just bawl you out, so to speak. Look at the positive. Try to find out what you can learn. Try to figure out something that you can be a help and put your emotions aside sometimes. When situations like that don't call for your emotions, they call for actual things that you can try to learn and learn from and become positive and not shift to the negative, and don't let it ruin your whole day. I mean, sometimes it just seems like people want to put a lot of bad on you where you can be as miserable as they are. We don't want that. You want to have great days. And sometimes people don't even realize they're doing it. And I'm sure I've done it as well. I'm hoping to do better with that if I have been. But I'm trying to do better and better as I go on. We're going to have off days. That's just life, guys. I mean, excuse me, guys. I got something in my eyes, rubbing my eyes here. Or rubbing my eye, I should say. My left eye here. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about that today, is making sure that you're putting in the right things and you're thinking about the right things. Number 8, if there is a time every day, set a time that you can schedule things, you can plan things. As I mentioned, I'm going to move on because I'm putting a lot of information in this podcast. Here's the next thing I want to talk about. This is actually message 9. This is get started early. You can message 9. You can see this on our website as well. To get started early, I mentioned that before. Try to start waking up 30 minutes early. If it is a typical day, 30 minutes will give you a little extra time to get going. A little time in the morning, take a few minutes longer to get ready, or walk outside for a few minutes, take you some coffee or take some deep breaths. I feel it really does matter. And I feel like if you can get going and you can get your day started in a good state, a lot of times you'll stay in that. You might say, well, what do you mean a good state? I mean, get to the point where you're feeling good about your day. What puts you in that state? What puts you in that mindset? And that's what I really would like to talk to you about. But I want to keep moving because this is more or less an overview of a lot of these things that I wrote down on the website. And I hope you guys can get it, but I don't want to just drill on one point because there's so much of it. If you've got an average day plan, get up about 30 minutes early, should be good for you. If you have got a lot planned today, you might wake up 45 minutes early if you got a lot of things going on where you can think a little bit more. I want to encourage you, if you're tired on these days, you're waking up early, start trying to go to bed earlier. Try to get 1 hour's worth of sleep. And, here's another thing, and I know a lot of people probably won't agree with me here. Sometimes when you go to bed, you're like, I don't want to sleep. I can't do what I need to do. Well, what if you flip the script? What if you start looking at, okay, I don't wake up early, so hey, some of this stuff I can get going tonight. If there's things that you can work on, start doing a little work. Maybe your best time sometimes for you is at the nighttime. So you got to figure out what works for you in your schedule, and you have to continually adapt that. You have to figure out what works. Everybody wants to have this just cookie cutter experience where everybody, falls into the same mold. I don't think it works like that. I think people are different. Situations are different. You have to find out what works for you. But moving on, if you have something that's weighing on your mind, get it done, because it's just a time sucker. I'm telling you. One of the biggest things that we have a problem with as humans is focusing on things that we don't want to do and we keep putting off, and it winds up just making us miserable because we're thinking about it when we don't want to be thinking about it because we're dreading it coming up. Just find what you need to do and get it done, and then you can move on. Let it go. It's a way to let it go. When you get it done and you've done what you needed to do with it, it frees up that mental capacity that you have, and you can move on to something of more interest or something that you really want to do, or something that just doesn't make you so stressed. That gives me a key right here. Stress. A lot of times it's stuff that we fear. What are you afraid of? If you're afraid of something, sometimes the best thing to do is to prepare for it, look into it, and get about doing it. Sometimes fear, when it's turned on itself, turns out to be something that wasn't even real at all. So just remember, if you face fear, a lot of times it'll go away, but you got to know when to do that. I mean, obviously not every situation is the same, but I would encourage you to don't just run all the time. You have to find out what you need to do, and you need to get about doing it. But moving on, I wanted to talk about if you have personal issues like you don't feel good or you're not taking care of yourself, you need to find a way to handle that. Take care of that. It'll affect your business performance. It'll affect your personal life. You have to find a way. If your health is bad and you don't have no energy and there's something going on with you, you need to find out how to have more energy. I mean, there's only so much pep talk, so much positive thinking that you can have when you don't feel good. I mean, I believe in positive thinking. I believe in, habits and things like that, and routines, and doing things that you love in your day, picking something that you can be happy and about in the day and think toward that, where you're looking forward to something in your day rather than dreading it all the time. But what you need to do also is you have to have the health to support that. You might say, well, I don't understand that. I don't get that. I don't know how to do that. You might need to do a little research on it. You might need to talk to a professional depending upon your circumstances or situation. But what I am saying is try to find a way to get the best out of you. If you're always building upon a weak foundation, if you're not eating right, you're not exercising, you got issues with your weight, you know what I mean? It's dragging you down. You don't feel good. You're not in the best mental place. You have to start to address some of those things sometimes to get what would I say in this case? I would say to get to the level that you could. Now, you may be able to be at a high level, but if you're constantly feeling bad, you don't have no energy, you're not going to be as good as you can, you're not going to be as good as you could be until you address that situation. Now, what that is for you, people have different circumstances, but get a success coach if you need to. That's another thing I wrote down here, where you can identify those areas you need to work on. It is a resource. You get the right one, especially. A lot of people, they think they did something on their own. They think they can do it on their own. They don't need any help from anybody else. But the truth is, sometimes we do need some help from other people. Sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's just somebody to talk to. Because if you're going through something, sometimes people can see things that you can't. They're looking at it from the second point of view. They're not looking at it from your point of view. They're looking outside. They're looking inside from the outside. They can see things sometimes it's not as clear to you because you're in the situation. I hope you got something from that, guys. But I want to read you one more other thing that I wrote down here on these podcasts. Here's another thing that I want to talk to you about here. And I feel like I'm going over and over and over. Maybe I just save a little bit this for next time. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Hope you guys can stick with me. Every day you need to be reaching, guys. That's message 10 that I got on the website. Here's what I put down. I never seen a wild thing feel sorry for itself. I like walking around in nature and seeing beautiful things in nature. I have a pet that cannot see very well, and I think sometimes she struggles to get around, but sometimes I see her and she's so happy. And it just reminds me what the Bible says. I have learned to be content in whatever state I find myself in. And that's paraphrasing a little bit, guys. I believe even when we're reaching to make those new goals and having many goals, I still think there's a time to enjoy the moments and relax. You have to find a way to master your day. And sometimes it's not always productive. Sometimes it's just taking some time to realize, hey, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to relax. I'm going to do something I love today. I'm going to write down a dream vacation I want, or I've got something I'm looking forward to today. Whatever that is for you, find some joy in your day and find out how to enjoy every day, guys. I mean, we're only getting so many of them anyway. So I would encourage you to do that. I hope we can reach a point where we think it could be worse and be grateful to God, rather than just be like, well, I've got everything, I need more and more. Gratitude is so important because when you start to realize what we have, it's just amazing, the things that we have. And we don't even really think about it. We just take it for granted sometimes. But I said this, I never saw a wild thing sorry for itself. A small bird will drop frozen dead from a bough without ever have felt sorry for itself. And that's D.H. Lawrence that said that. Guys, a lot of times in nature just goes with the flow, gets things done. And it just amazed me that, I see my, pet, and she can't see that well. And I remember one day she looked so happy just sitting there. And I thought, how is that possible? Just to enjoy the moments, but that's what we need to do, regardless wherever we find ourselves, put our mind in a good place. Sometimes you have to tell your mind what you want rather than just accept what your mind says. Don't accept what your mind says, because a lot of times your mind will be lying to you. I know that sounds strange. Guys, there's a lot of things on our website But I would encourage you to have many goals and try to make progression in those things that would make you happier in your days. Focus on doing what you need to do. Write it down. Get things done. Guys, I could go on and on about this, but this is the podcast for tonight. I hope you got something from it. See you next time.